Hey everyone, you're gonna love this. This is take number two. I just did 22 minutes of a video and got all the way to listen to make sure everything worked out okay and did not have sound. That was a great video though. So we're gonna try to do as well this second time. It'll probably be even better now that I've had the dry run. Anyways, this is a follow up to the prepping pantry that I had done a month or so ago, and it looks like it's gotten some significant following. So this is the math behind prepping. And I wanted to show you the best things to stock and why, just because of density and cost effectiveness. This isn't meant to be, just for rich people. Anybody should be able to do this if you follow these simple suggestions. But you have to kind of put together a plan, and you have to decide, how much space you've got and how much money you can allocate towards this. And it's not, you don't necessarily need to go spend $10,000 all at once and do this. Just I'm going to show you how you can do a plan for a year for maybe 4 or 5 people, and it shouldn't be too costly. So let's look at this. So the first thing you notice, I have rice on here. And this will become readily apparent to you why rice is first on the list. And it has to do with this 50-pound bag right here for $16.46. At least that's what it was a few weeks ago when I first started putting this together. This is 500 servings. Now, I'm not recommending that this is what you're going to live on, but a lot of people in the world do live on this. This is pretty good stuff. I've been using this for a while, and I'm happy with this rice. But they've also got the jasmine rice, which has some other flavoring to it. It depends on where you're from. I like both, and I may end up stocking both. But jasmine rice costs a lot more, so I'm trying to put the most cost-effective things in here, but let you know about the other things. The other nice thing about rice, all it needs is water. So granted, myself, rice by itself is not the greatest. Now, we make yellow rice. I'm in love with it. You add some other seasonings, it makes it great. Eating rice by itself, it's almost like a biscuit. I don't like a biscuit. Sorry, folks. All you people from the South, just way too dry for me. But, you can slam a salt-cured ham in there and some jelly or something. Yeah, I can eat it then. Even though I got gluten intolerance now, it's not on my list, but you can make me a gluten-free biscuit, and I can make it work. All right, so the next thing on the list is you got to think about rice, corn, and potatoes, right? So the most cost-effective corn that you can get, and for density and everything, is grits. So you can buy these, there's these 5-pound containers of grits, and there's 3 of them in a package at Sam's Club. So you get 15 pounds. 183 servings for $7, so that's 4 cents a serving, where rice was 3 cents a serving. Pretty close, right? So now you got your grains kind of covered here for the first two. And it's actually, again, all you need is water. We kind of mix milk in, and butter, salt, and pepper are necessary also. So then I tried to find things that you can find at Walmart or Sam's Club, and so mashed potatoes. This is like the biggest container you can get. It's 3.24 pounds, but this is a little bigger than a gallon container. So you can see that if you're going to try to get 50 pounds of this, you're going to need a pretty big storage shelf for this, because this is not dense. Potatoes are light, if you remember. And then if you go into hash browns, same thing, they're very light. And then if you get, Augustin, this is a 10-pound pail in a 5-gallon bucket. You can put 5 gallons of grits, and that's 50 pounds roughly, and 5 gallons of rice, and that's 50 pounds. So you can see this is 1/5 the density. And the price goes way up too. So if you're trying to get 5 pounds of this, it's going to be $300, where you only paid $16 for rice. So potatoes, dehydrated anyways, is not a good choice. Hopefully you can grow your own and be able to get there. Now I threw in some things because I felt like our bread in a shit hit the fan scenario is going to be like pancakes, flatbreads. This is what they used to do, 1,000 years ago. That's what most people had, was flatbreads. So this is a 28-pound pail from Augustin Farms, 276 servings. It's $55. So this would take 2 of these to be 50 pounds, a little less than 2. But here's an alternative. If you want to package it yourself, these are, let me move it over. This is 10-pound container, and this is only $6. So for 50 pounds, you can have a little over $30, where this was 28 pounds for $60. So let's go look at the summary table, because this is a lot to remember. So I always like to, the engineer in me. Oh, and I also did go through quite a few of these, and I tried to look at how long things last depending on how they are stored. And so anyways, this is a summary of the information. 50 pounds, 500 servings for rice, and for less than $17, 3 cents a serving. And if you store it in Mylar bags with carbon dioxide or oxygen absorbers, it's like 30 years. Grits, it's 4 cents a serving. And I did a conversion down here. How many of these you would need, and how much it would cost. But here's the 30 years, same thing, because it's a grain, it's not a mix. Potatoes, you can get 5 to 10 years, but the density is not there, and the cost is much higher. So you can see 8 cents per serving. This is 10 cents per serving. And if you go with the Augustin, where it's already sealed up, it goes up to 40 cents per serving. And then their pancake mix is 20 cents per serving. And then Sam's Club, if you package it yourself, it's going to be 3 cents per serving plus whatever the packaging is. So let's go over here for a second. So I want to give you some ideas of what the costs are, because they're not insignificant. But you get these Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. You're also going to have to get a sealer. They're fairly inexpensive, but here's 60 bags for $25. So let's say 50 cents each for a bag. But then your 5-gallon buckets with the Gamma Seal lids are $20 a piece. And then you're going to need to have some plastic containers that when you open up a 1-gallon bag, you dump it in this, and then you seal these other ones back up and leave them sealed in their Mylar bags. And so then this becomes your temporary storage while you're using it. So that's my idea how we would do this. And these are, say $6 a piece. So I'm probably going to go buy, 10 or 15 of these, depending on how many different things. I've got dried beans, I got rice, I got, potato slices, we got cheese, dried cheese, we got all kinds of stuff that you're going to have to reseal. So that's some of the things I'm thinking. You can also reuse those number 10 cans if you went and bought stuff like I did. All right, so let's go back to this table. So now what I did was I tried to combine this together to show how many of these things up here you would have to buy to get it into a 50-pound package or a 5-gallon container equivalent type thing. So we had to buy 3.3 packages of grits, and that ends up 610 servings. And it costs, $23 versus the $16.46 here. So it's fairly close, and that'll fit in a 6-gallon container, 5 or 6-gallon container. I'm thinking once you bag these into Mylar bags, you may not be able to fit 5 of them, but you can buy 6-gallon containers also if your shelving will allow it. Potato mashed. So you're going to need 15 of those boxes, those little more than 1-gallon, containers. And that'll be 1,000 servings, and that's going to cost $76. But you'll need 5 6-gallon buckets for that, or 50 number 10 cans. I forgot I put these over here: 10 number 10 cans or a 6-gallon container. Hash browns, same problem. It's going to need 5 6-gallon buckets to have the equivalent. Now you do get twice the servings, so that's something to think about. So maybe we can cut in half, but these may not be men's servings. It may be, normal humans, but men, when they're working, they're going to need more calories. So here's Augustin potato slices. So you're going to need 5 of their buckets. So that's that 5 6-gallons, but it's $329. But if you bought these other things packaged yourself, you're going to save, like half the cost doing it yourself. Pancake mix. To me, this is actually very cost effective. Just like I showed up here, this was 3 cents per serving, but not with the Augustin. The Augustin was 20 cents per serving, and so it's 99 bucks for two 6-gallon containers, or you can buy 5 of those 10-pound uh, containers at Sam's Club of the regular members mark, and it's a third the cost. Um, so, anyways, sometimes time is valuable. Maybe you got a job already. It's hard for you to do some of this other stuff, but because it's going to take you, a day of repackaging some of this stuff to do this, and maybe it's easier for you to just write a check. But I think most people are going to want to try to, buy these things themselves. So let's go look at now menus. Trying to break it down. All right, so breakfast. You're also going to need some butter, salt, and pepper, and I've got butter powder. Maybe you can make your own butter. Maybe you've got, a cow. I don't. I don't even know anybody with a cow. I got a lot of cows all around me, but I don't know the people that have those. It's easy to store salt and pepper, so make sure you get plenty of that. So grits. 3 cups of grits with 12 cups of water. We like to mix milk, and I've got powdered milk that I've saved also. I'm trying to get to 12 servings. And so with 50 pounds of grits, that's 610 servings. Eggs, I got my own chickens. I almost get 12 eggs a day. You're going to need a little bit of oil, so I got a bunch of coconut oil I've saved up. And I've also got some powdered eggs, both scrambled and whole. But my goal is to use my chickens. As long as I can keep feeding them, they'll give me eggs, or if I have enough grass and bugs back there that they feed themselves. But you're going to need about 15 or 16 chickens to get 12 eggs a day. Now, pancakes. All these need is water. If you buy the ones that everything's all mixed, and 12 servings. So you get 50 pounds of pancakes is like 1,000 servings. If you go 2 pancakes per person now, that's only going to be 500 servings. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so that's one type of breakfast. Here's another one. I got some show and tell here. I don't know how well this is going to show up on this webcam. Roast beef hash. I can't see what I'm showing you, so I'm hoping this is going to show up in the view. Roast beef hash is a pretty good long-term storage. Now, this already has potatoes in here, and this has got a Best Buy use date of 2022. And this is only 2019, so it's got 3 years that they could still sell this. And that means it's probably going to last another 3 to 5 years. So, truthfully, I'm probably going to go buy a couple cases of this because we love this. Now, if you go cut up a bunch of onions and you have your grits with this, this is a fantastic meal. So, we like that. But what I like even better is corned beef hash. And I've been buying these reduced sodium ones because these are fairly high in sodium. And I don't have a big taste for salt anyways. I usually like to put pepper on this. This has a Best Buy date of July 2021. And I'd be curious if I looked at the regular sodium if it has a longer shelf life. But same thing. This normally is 2 servings, but if you go ahead and add a bunch of onions on there, you can make this spread out, and then you have grits with it as well. You can have smaller, portions of this to divvy it up. But these are all very, very good breakfast things that you can mix in there along with your eggs. No need to have pancakes if you have this. This is very dense, so this becomes your meat to go with there. Let's move to lunch. I'm not going to plan all your meals for you. These are just some generic examples here. All right, so if we stick with canned foods, buy yourself chili with no beans. And the reason why is we're trying to do very dense meals. So beans, you can go buy dried beans a lot cheaper than you can get canned beans, but I did put some examples of canned beans. Now, normally when we do like chili dogs or something, I used to be able to buy chili with beans at Sam's Club. For whatever reason, they're only selling without beans now. So I went to Kroger and I bought, kidney beans. I bought a case of these things, and normally I mixed 2 cans of beans with 1 can of chili, and that comes out with about the right ratio that I like to have. And so we end up now having something that would have been 2 servings, and this becomes probably close to 4 or 5 servings, right? And you put those over hot dogs, and it's fantastic. Now, if we if you use quart size chili, like I canned a bunch of stuff. Now, I'm sorry. Let me back up. So we were doing the canned chili. So we had 2 cups of which is 1 can, and then you had 2 cans of beans. So that's 4 cups of beans. And then if you made some rice, where you have 2 cups of rice, which with 4 cups of water, that actually makes like 4 cups of rice. You now end up with 8 servings. Okay. So that's something we do in the South. We've always had rice when we had a bunch of people over because we didn't know, how many people were going to be there and how much they'd eat. And so you throw the chili over the rice with the beans, and you end up with being able to serve more. This is what we're going to have to do for the future because beans are cheap, rice is cheap. Chili is going to be the expensive thing with the meat and everything. Now I've made my own chili, very meat dense, similar to this. I did put some beans in there, but a very small amount. And so that a quart is equal to 4 cups, and then you do 8 cups of beans, and then 4 cups of rice, and that 1 quart of chili will serve 16 servings. Now, if you have onions, if you have cheese, if you have, all this other stuff, it's going to stretch it even further or make it even more nourishing. But, my chili has fresh jalapenos, fresh bell peppers, fresh onions that I made this with. It's, I don't know how old this stuff was that was made in this, but my stuff is unbelievably good. So the point is, if you were to stock up 40 quarts of chili, you would end up with 640 servings. And that's pretty hearty, and boy, that's a great meal on a freaking cold day. So if we're going grand solar minimum, this is the kind of stuff you want. So I've got currently 200 quarts, and it's a mix of this, and I don't remember how much I've got of each one of these, but I got rabbit stews, I got chicken stews, turkey stews, Brunswick stew, ham and navy, bean soup. I got rabbit in broth, chicken in broth. I got some okra canned and carrots canned and stuffed. And so my goal now, I'm thinking, is I want to go ahead and do 48 quarts because that'd be 4 cases of each one of these things. And then I could figure out how many servings each one of these would do. And, not everything. Like rabbit stew, you could put that over rice. You could do chicken stew over rice. Navy bean soup has these white beans, and I did it half the dosage. It was meat dense. So you could add more beans to this, but you could also, Brunswick stew, you maybe do over rice, all these things you can cut it. But, the chili is the thing that probably cuts the most. But the idea is by doing these fresh meals, with the way they were made, with your fresh ingredients, animals that you grew, it's I do have some turkey and the ham. I didn't do those myself, but what I do during the holidays, these things are like half price, $1 a pound or less. Boy, I load up on it, and that's when I start canning. So I get those things covered. But all throughout the year, I'm growing rabbits and I'm growing chickens, and those are just going and being canned. So anyways, there's some other things I want to say, but I'm going to save for another video. I wanted to just give you an idea of the math of how this would work. And we also need to put calories together. So the next thing we need to do is actually put a menu together with calories, because in a harsh environment, say it's real cold and guys are out there having to split wood and just work and toil in the yard, whatever, they're going to burn more calories than others. And in a harsher environment, you're going to definitely do more calories. Even in the summer, it's hot, you're sweating, You know, you're gonna have to make sure you got Gatorade and other things, and so that's gonna have to come into consideration for your meal plan. But this is just an example of you know, how you can determine your number of servings. But you're also going to have to determine, okay, so you got the number of servings. How many people are you planning on taking care of? And then that way you can then decide of how much you need of everything to be able to cover them. Because this is, it takes quite a bit to be able to feed, let's say, 6 people. So I've got, right now, I'm trying to show maybe 12 servings. I hope I don't have to serve 12 people, but you just don't know how many family are going to come out of the woodwork. And so then you can then do the math to figure out how long your stuff will last. All right, so I hope everybody's treating you well, and God bless.